What is up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you like that new intro. In this video, we are going to be talking about our number one cryptocurrency of the summer and of 2022 overall, and that is Render token. As I'm sure you may have noticed recently, this gem has been outperforming the majority of the market, which is especially impressive considering we are now in what I and many others consider to be a crypto winter. Okay, so let's catch up on some fundamentals, let's catch up on some technicals, and of course, I'll give you guys some updated short-term price targets and let you guys know how I see RNDR performing over the course of the rest of the month of June, heading into July. Okay, but before we do so, as always, we'll quickly go over each of the tabs I have open for you guys, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us is good old TradingView, where we are, as I'm sure you noticed, very zoomed out on Render. And the reason for that is primarily because I want to show you guys how much Render has corrected over the course, obviously, along with everything else since those November highs over the course of the past 6 months. And we have pretty recently, just before this little move to the upside, seen a new all-time low for Render token and over a 96% correction from all-time highs. And I will explain as we dive into the charts why I believe that's important, especially when it comes to potentially buying what I believe to be the bottom. Okay, and again, I'll explain that more as we move through the video. Next to TradingView. And again, we're very zoomed out now, but at the very end of the video, I will go to the 4-hour candles and we will talk shorter term price action and price targets. Okay, some lines of resistance, lines of support, general trend lines that are dictating some of the price targets that I'm personally looking at. Okay, so that is for the end. Save the best for last. Next to TradingView, we do have CoinMarketCap open. The reason for this is to show you guys, of course, how Render has performed over the past day, because it has been, at the time of recording, which is June 20th, a pretty insane past 24 hours. Saw some very, very impressive volume, which of course led to some very exciting price action for RNDR. But the main reason I have CoinMarketCap here is really to emphasize the fundamental value of Render when determining fair value of a product. This applies to stocks as well, you guys, cryptos and stocks. It's not the price itself. Obviously, Render 43 cents. That is nothing. That means nothing to the value, or that speaks nothing, I should say, to the value of the overall project itself or the worth of the project. Okay, it's the token price times the amount of tokens in circulation. Okay, so as of right now, the market cap of Render token is $111 million, which, when you understand the potential of what Render token could be over the years, is minuscule. Okay, so to remind us of what Render token does as a project, because I feel it's necessary to do in pretty much every single video where we cover Render token, we do have Render's website. I will quickly read over, the very 101 about section of Render in their own words, and just read these 2 paragraphs for you guys right here prior to jumping into the charts. So I'll read through this. I'll talk to you guys about why I feel the market cap of Render is extremely undervalued and has a lot of upside over the long term, given the potential of the Render network itself from a fundamental use case perspective. And then we'll dive into the charts and once again talk technicals and talk some of these short-term price targets. You see this volume right here? That is what I love to see. And though Render has, as of these past 2 3 trading days, seen the most volume it has ever seen in its lifetime. Okay, and that is very, very good, because ultimately volume means there's eyeballs means there's price action, and price action ultimately leads to discovery and the education of the average investor to the potential of the project. And in Render's case, the more investors who know about what Render is trying to do as a project, the better, because it's pretty difficult to understand what Render does and the competency of the founder of the team and what they're trying to accomplish over the long term, and not be bullish from, especially once again, a fair value market cap perspective as of late. Okay, before we do that, you guys, please give the video a like if you've been accumulating Render with me over the past day, week, months, because a lot of you guys seem it seems like the tone of the video is obviously negative. We're in crypto winter. It's not nearly as fun as when everything's booming and stuff. But you guys, this is when it's a lot more important to stay engaged, stay learning, stay watching, because these are the times that really teach you. And teach you the discipline and the emotional fortitude of being an investor, because those are ultimately what matter over the long-term time horizon. So if you're an investor, these are the most important times to stay tuned, to pay attention. If you're a trader, you guys know I don't really trade cryptos. I trade equities, but crypto, this is like venture capital to me. I'm holding these, and I'm establishing, I'm building my positions during the times like these, during these crypto winners. And that's why I love Render. I've done my research. I've done my due diligence. There's plenty of other great projects out there. But one thing I've learned in the game of investing is find something that you believe in. Do as much due diligence and research as you possibly can on that given project, and really kind of be a master of your craft, right? You can be a master of many crafts, or what is it? Master of none. Jack of all trades, master of none. And in crypto's case, I really choose to be a master of one as opposed to a master of none, jack of all trades. And Render is my number one horse in the race. Okay, so before we get into anything else, you guys, again, let me know in the comments down below if you've been bagging up with me. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow the journey through this crypto winter, because there's always something to be learned. There's always content to be made, and I'm excited to build out my new home office pretty soon and get you guys some fresh content in a fresh environment. We'll still be down here, of course, in the office, but just to mix it up a little bit, these are also times for you as an individual to expand and work on your own projects and build out whatever other projects you are pursuing in life. Okay, so anyway, before we dive into the charts, before we dive into some of the fundamentals, let's read over the little excerpt I wrote on Render token in yesterday's Sunday special newsletter. So these two definitely set the tone for the overall market, talking of course about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I think we can all agree that the real MVP of the day is our number one horse in the race, and that is Render token. So you guys got the phone right here. Do not have many notifications on, but I do have notifications on, like pop notifications for a select few names in the crypto.com app, and it put a smile on my face to see Render pop up on my lock screen. RNDR of 42.87%. Okay, so Render has managed to rally over 50% in the past hour alone on massive volume, which we will take a look at on CoinMarketCap as well. Take a look at that 24-hour volume, which is staggering relative to its market cap. And I'm excited to see what plays out from here. I think Render will be the diamond in the rough through this crypto winter. And this is really what obviously encouraged me to make this video. Render, if you guys have been around, you would know this has been our number one play, at least my number one play. I say our because I know if you guys are watching this, you probably like Render as well. So Render has been our number one play. Waves Capital's number one play for quite a while in the cryptocurrency space. And again, you guys, I'm not saying this is a better project than Ethereum. I'm not saying this is going to get bigger than Ethereum necessarily. But when it comes to upside potential, asymmetric risk potential, which is what I look for as an investor and as a trader, what trades can I take on? What investments can I take on that will reap the most potential upside given the current risk profile? Okay, Render, the downside risk is minimal, especially at this point. I don't think Render deserves, in my opinion, I don't think it definitely doesn't deserve to be much lower. Does not deserve to be a sub $100 million market cap. And I personally don't think it will get much lower, especially with someone like A16Z, A16Z's new crypto fund in the space. Chamath introduced me initially to Render token. A lot of VCs, a lot of major angel investors like Render token. And when the big dogs like a project as small as this, that is usually a good sign of what's to come. And if venture funds do get into the space, they will probably be participating in the names that the shoguns of the sector like. Okay, so Render token, $100 million market cap, so much upside potential, and I'm really just excited to see what happens. And I'm really liking this volume, which again we will take a look at as we dive into the charts. Okay, so before it, you guys, last plug, please, if you guys, speaking of the phone ringing, hold on, Sammy, lady. Anyway, so if you guys want the newsletter that I write every single trading day during market hours, this is the Sunday special. That's just a little bonus you get on Sunday. But if you want the 3 newsletters that I write every single trading day, if you want a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, you want to know not only when I'm bagging up on Render, when I'm buying the dips, but when I am buying literally anything else. When I'm buying, when I'm selling, what call options I have on specific stocks, what sectors I'm bullish on at that given time period, and how I'm trading through this crypto winter. Not only crypto winter, but equity winter as well in the stock market. Okay, so if you guys are interested in this, $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. Go give it a shot. If you don't like it, if you don't like it, you be the judge of that. But I work really hard on this. I believe it is well worth the money. And yeah, if you guys are subscribed, if you guys are part of Waves Capital for real, please let me know in the comments down below and share with others your experience, if you had a good one or a bad one. But be honest. Okay, so again, first link down in the description box below. Appreciate it if you guys check that out. If not, no worries at all. Let's get into Render Network, distributed GPU rendering on the blockchain. Again, it's just necessary to remind ourselves. And again, I like looking at this page every once in a while, just reminding myself of why I invested in this in the first place. And again, you guys, these same principles apply to so many, not just cryptocurrencies, but stocks, overbeaten growth stocks. So many names that come to mind right now that I'm not going to mention by name, but so many great projects, great companies with long-term potential that have gotten unnecessarily beaten down over the course of this retail investor route, and just, even hedge fund institutional route over the past 6 months. Times are bloody, you guys, but again, if you're standing strong on the other side of this, then you deserve to be here, and you'll probably be a very rich individual someday. Again, it's just important to remind yourself of why you invested in these great projects in the first place. Okay, so the Render Network is the leading provider of decentralized GPU-based rendering solutions, revolutionizing the digital creation process. Why render on the Render Network? Because the future is being built today, and hardware limitations should not be what keeps you from being a part of the new digital renaissance. Render puts the power of GPU rendering at your fingertips at a fraction of the cost and speed of in-house rendering. So founded in 2016 by Jules Yerbach, CEO of Otoy. So Otoy, if you guys look up Jules Yerbach and Otoy, this company is so connected, this company is so competent. And again, same principle, these same investing principles apply across the spectrum, okay? Always bet on the founder, okay? Celsius, Luna. If you look at the founders of these two projects, you watch them speak, it's very evident that it's not surprising that they collapsed. And I don't want to downplay the seriousness of that, because that's very heavy, and that's very real, and honestly very sad. It's a bummer that those two projects and so many other projects out there are just straight shit. And realistically, they are dragging the entirety of the market down. On top of the bad optics that they provide, these companies are liquidating so much Bitcoin and Ether and just their reserves of crypto to try to find some semblance of solvency to no avail as well. Like it's crazy. But anyway, you guys, this is a crazy time. Just make sure you're betting on the founders. Make sure you're betting on the competency of the team that's running the project, because ultimately it doesn't mean shit if these projects have a great mission statement or they have a great objective. It matters if the team can execute on their objective, okay, and accomplish those objectives. So that is that little PSA aside. Again, go check out Render's site for yourself if you want to. Render, as I describe it, as many of you may know, is the next version of AWS, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. This is a $1.5 to $2 trillion today. $1.5 to $2 trillion industry. Everyone thinks Amazon makes money off of being the Walmart of the internet, right? Being the kingpin of e-commerce, which they are. But their profit puppy, their cash cow, the thing that keeps the lights on at Amazon is AWS, Amazon Web Services. It's the fact that they render at pretty much every site. Everything you go, when you type in a domain, there's a processor somewhere out there. There's a GPU somewhere out there that is allowing you to render these websites, to load up these websites and load up whatever you're looking at a crazy pace, okay, at a crazy rate. Some of the biggest websites in the world, no matter what it is, run on AWS. They need those cloud service providers, and that is what Render is. Render is the Web3 version, the decentralized, the crypto version of AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. Again, $1 trillion industry. The fact that Render is trading at $100 million market cap. If Render were to 100x from here, that would take us just to over a $10 billion market cap, right? Just very back of the envelope math, right? Bootleg math. If Render was 100x from here, that would take us to a $10 billion market cap. And for 10 billion, 200x would take us to a trillion. Okay, so I think 10 billion, I'm just going to go to 10 billion right now. I think 10 billion is very reasonable for Render as a project. And of course, that is 100x from here, or a $40, again, you guys, just very general math. You guys get the point though. $40 Render if we're at 100x from here, of course. Okay, so anyway, let's focus on the short term. Long term, once again, Render as of when did a Render see its all-time low? It was right here when everything else, of course, saw its low, June 18th, just a few days back, okay? So Render, a few days back, saw a low of 27 cents. That is bonkers. And that is the lowest. I mean, that might be a double bottom, so just about, no, that is the lowest Render's ever been, because the low we saw back in June of 2021 was at 35 cents, okay? So low of 27 cents. How off from that all-time high that we saw back in November is that, okay? So let's zoom out right here. I think, okay, so from Render's all-time high to boom right there, Render has seen almost a 97% correction from its all-time high just in the span of the last 7 months of 97%. You guys, even for crypto, again, I've been through a couple crypto cycles now, a 97% correction is crazy. That is almost never seen. And that's why over this past weekend, like, I know I've said I was, and I have been, honestly, a buyer of Render token, sub $1. And of course that has bit me and many others in the ass, but that's just the real, again, that's the nature of the game. I just said I think Render, and I stand by this. It may take time. It may take 1, 2, 5, 10 years. Shit, I don't know, 10 years. It may take a decade. But when you're talking about 100x, you shouldn't be able, and that's like kind of the bunk part, a massive downside of just how much liquidity has been pumping and how much liquidity has been flowing and how much rampant capital, speculative capital, manic capital has been flowing through the markets and providing crazy returns. Again, Doge, Shiba Inu, some of these trash projects that are just providing 10, 100, 1000x returns. Those days are over, you guys. Those days are in the past now. Those days are long gone. But that's why it's so important. It's more crucial now than ever to actually do your proper due diligence. Make sure these projects are competent. I should say not these projects are competent, but these teams are competent to execute on the projects that I have amazing visions for. Okay, so again, it's bit us in the ass, but it will pay off. Patience pays off, you guys, literally in the long term. And right now, we are seeing the most volume we've ever seen on Render. So let's go back here. Obviously, you can see here, and of course, you guys, volume when Render is at like $8, it's a lot different. Like there's more dollars flowing through Render over here than there is here, but because the price per token is a lot lower, it does skew that. You guys get what I'm saying here, but it's amazing to see the Render is seeing such impressive levels of volume, and again, especially considering we are now in crypto winter, to see this type of volume on a play that's ranked 166 on CoinMarketCap, so under the radar. The fact to see this much liquidity in such a low key coin is again just really speaks to the potential here, and yeah, I mean, again, you guys, it's really, and especially in crypto, it's still really about volume. It's about discovery, and when you see these levels of volume, when you see these spikes in price action, that's what leads to discovery, what leads to due diligence, what leads to, again, a successful long-term product. Okay, so that's long-term, you guys. Again, the main thing here is Render has seen a correction of 97%, which is very, very rare for even bad altcoin projects. So this is crazy, and considering Render is seeing this and it's an amazing project with a great team behind it is staggering, and it just makes me that much more bullish on Render in the long term. Okay, so sorry, volume in the past 24 hours is 80 million in the past 24 hours considering Render. So obviously that's what, 75%. Render in the past 24 hours has traded 75% of its market cap in volume, which is crazy. And that's, I mean, you guys, again, that's what I love to see, especially in this market environment. Okay, so short-term Render, I do have a few targets lined up here. I think Render can, at the very, very least, which we haven't yet, see a little second wave, see a short-term second wave up to test this previous low that we saw on May 12th. Previous candle low as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see us come more up here where you see more touch points. It's a little more, let's actually go to 4 hour. So as you can see, again, When you scroll up here, Render spent very little time actually over in this area and a lot of time. This is an actual area of support. And you guys, TA 101, right? Previous floors become new ceilings. I do think Render at the very least can see a second wave up to about 666, 66 cents, 65 to 70 cents. Just get back into this range over here of these previous lows. Again, previous floor become new ceiling. In the case that we can break above that, and break this line of resistance right here, which is the main thing. If Render, from a short-term perspective, can break back above like 55, just to play it safe, 60 cents. If Render can see 60 cents, I think it's going to be a very, very quick jump to 66 to 70 cents. And in the case that we see that, again, you guys, that those same principles apply, right? Previous ceilings become new floors. You can see this as well. Like previous support will become new resistance. So I think this will definitely come into play as well. We saw it kind of confirmed over here. Let's change the color on that just to make it a little more. Boom. So again, you guys, previous support becomes new resistance. In the case that we are able to break this previous floor as a new ceiling, I do think this is going to be the next target that comes into play. Just say we hit it by July 1st, June 30th, because that's how far it goes, June 29th, whatever. In the case that we can break above this area, I do think this will come into play. We could see an 80-cent render. And if we're able to make it back up to 80 cents, which I do not think, let's get a price range on that, because I definitely do not think that the rest of the market will follow suit. So say, again, over the next week or so, if Render is able to reclaim 80 cents, that is a 90%, almost 2x appreciation from current levels at 43 cents, okay? And I do not think, and I'm very confident in the fact that very, very few, if any, plays will be able to replicate that type of price action in this macroeconomic environment, okay? So if Render is able to outperform, again, we've seen it in Helium. Helium's a good play. And I regret not talking about Helium more and really engaging with Helium more, because right before it popped off, I was gonna, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. It doesn't matter because I didn't do it and I didn't make a video about it, and I should have, because I had the feeling and I didn't execute. But anyway, I think Render could be what Helium has been over the past few weeks. And again, you guys, it's only a matter of time before investors learn about these small projects, because people still want to have their money multiply on their money. People still want those crazy cash flow, or still want those crazy plays, those crazy asymmetric upside potential plays. And again, as an investor, that's what I'm looking for. I've spent a lot of time talking about Render. I've spent even more time researching Render, and this is my play. So I'll keep you guys posted. Let me know in the comments down below once again if you're bullish on Render like I am. And again, if you want to know when I'm buying more Render, how I'm trading, not just cryptocurrencies, but stocks, literally everything, call options, put options, etc. Join the Waves fam for real. Join Waves Capital for real, and I'll let you be the judge of whether it's for you or not. Okay, so we'll call it there, you guys. I'll see you downstairs in the comments below. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.